dare touch those cards. I've got 20,000 litres of wine resting on that hand, so don't you dare touch them. Make sure nobody else touches them either. We're having a break. That is a big bet. Don't lose it. Okay? Or it'll be you who I take it out of you. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello. How are you? Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while. It's been a while. I kind of got a little bit Shakespeared out. So it's been a while. And besides, we had a bit of a thing. Because like upstairs sent us someone. Upstairs never, ever, ever sends us anybody. No, they take stuff from us. But anyway, so upstairs sent us somebody. And apparently he had been sort of like bothering them upstairs with too many practical jokes. And they wanted to send him down here to, you know, sort of, straighten him out, you know, scare him silly. Except he came down with a deck of cards. And it's been really, really fun. I'm not going to give him back, frankly. I'm not giving him back because he taught us all how to play bridge. He's really good at it. Yes. He's really good. He's also really good with the Milwaukee family players. Apparently he was in film. Apparently he was in film when he was a human, alive, but now he's down here and he's been teaching us all to play bridge, which is great because you can play really high stakes with bridge. And at the moment I've got a hand with like 20,000 litres of wine from Dionysus landing on it, and he's playing with Hermes, and they're currently, and Hermes has like a whole load of Apollo sheep form, cattle. Or is it his sheep? I don't know, livestock, whole load of livestock. I've been betting, you know, demons, but nobody really likes my bets. It's a good thing my husband's much better about with the betting. I go demons, he goes riches, you know, I mean, we get play. So far we haven't lost. We're really good. We're really good. Yeah. So anyway, we've been having great fun playing bridge, which is also part of the reason why spring is late. Da. You should hear my smother going on and on because look, we're in the middle of a really big hand. We weren't going to lose that. You know, had to send the understudy. Wasn't very good at it. Oh well, there you go. Okay, sirrah. Anyway, now, they're going to make me do this. Remember, we have a shop, blah, 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 blah. That's how you support us. And it's got books and things, but mostly it is the only place you can buy my T-shirts. So go to the shop. Okay? Done. Blah. Now, today we have a different play. I'm finally back with a play. Yes, I know. It's been ages. I told you I was Shakespeared out. And now we've been playing bridge. It's just how it is. Actually, we've been having such fun playing bridge. Even some of the topsides gods have come down here, which is like, ooh, wow. They never come down here. But they're coming down here to play bridge, not even just the ones who regularly come down like Dionysus and Hermes. They're getting good at this. Too good for my liking. But, you know, really uncles and aunties who never come down have been coming down to play bridge. It's been brilliant. I don't think that it worked quite the way they were hoping. It's not so much that we straightened him out as he bent us even further. That's fun. Now, talking about being bent further, our play. We got to play. And it was actually him who got the Milwaukee family players to do it because they were really, really reluctant to do it. But when we worked out there was a whole load of comedy in it, then they were able to sort of, you know, really bring it to life, which is good because they kept grumbling and saying, oh, but it's not a real Shakespeare play. It is a real Shakespeare play. It is Titus Andronicus. Yes, the Elizabethan slasher film. Well, it's like a slasher film, and given that it is now spooky season, as you guys call it, You people call it spooky season. I thought to bring you the Elizabethan slasher play that is co-written by George Peel and Mr. William Shakespeare. Yes. Now, that's why the Milwaukee family players didn't like it. They come from a period before Titus was fully acknowledged as one of Shakespeare's plays, when it was sort of like, oh no, he couldn't have written something so foul. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I'll explain this. Now, because we're doing Titus Andronicus, and Titus Andronicus is a slasher play, it really is. There's no other way to look at this play except it's an Elizabethan gore fest. And you know me, I don't shy away from these things. But the content of this play is awful. Awful. So if you are somebody who is not going to really revel in the bloodshed and the rapes and the murders and all of that sort of thing, this probably isn't going to be the video for you, because I don't want to field a whole load of comments about how, oh, look, there's rape in this and you talked about that. Yeah, I'm warning you now. If you're going to be a weenie, shut it off. If it's going to upset you, shut it off. I'd rather have people who are into it than people who are going to bitch and moan. Okay, disclaimers out of the way. Let's start with Titus Andronicus. So, Titus starts in Rome. Now, the first act of this play, you can tell because the language changes halfway through or partway through the play, and you can tell which writer wrote which bits. Yes, I read a whole book on this. Indeed. George Peel wrote the first act of the play, and this play is Shakespeare learning how you write a tragedy, because this play, although it doesn't look very like the rest of Shakespeare, when you put it in the context of Elizabethan theatre, this is what they liked. Slasher plays. Elizabethan slasher plays are truly, truly, truly in vogue at this period. And George Peel is a very, very good tragedian. It's very like what he does. And it's harking back to the ancient Roman tragedians. Not like the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks had a bit of class. But the ancient Romans, they liked schlock. What can I say? The ancient Romans liked schlock. So their tragedies are quite gore-soaked. This is harking back to those gore-soaked tragedies. But I think this one goes even further than a lot of the Roman tragedies did. So, Titus. It opens in Rome of the late Empire. So not Julius Caesar. No, this is the Rome of the where the Goths are coming down and sacking the place, and the whole all the borders are crumbling in on themselves. So whereas we had expanded borders out, now they're all crumbling in on themselves. I know, it's a pretty sad state. It's a pretty sad state of affairs. So Rome has been fighting the Goths, the people up in the north, the Germans. And Titus Andronicus is a general who has come in victory to Rome, having lost 20 of his 25 children. And Titus comes in triumph as the triumphant general into a divided Rome. He brings with him his captives, Tamora, queen of the Goths, and 3 of her sons. Now, in this divided Rome, Basanius and Saturninus are brothers, and they're both vying for the emperorship. And Titus, as the great victorious general, is offered the emperorship to sort of quell this violence. Both Saturninus and Basanius, don't worry, he'll be dead soon, are both in love with Titus's daughter Lavinia. She has been promised in marriage to Basanius, but Saturninus decides he likes her too. The queen of the Goths has 3 sons and a black slave called Aaron. He's very important. Now, her 3 sons, Titus decides he's going to sacrifice one of her 3 sons to appease the shades of the dead, his dead sons. Now, this is not very Roman at all. Romans didn't do human sacrifice. They'd outlawed it even in this day and age. They were not that savage. But anyway, he's going to sacrifice that. And Queen Tamora is utterly distraught. You know, she's begging and weeping, and what harm did he do apart from defend his country and be on the losing side of the battle, which is all very, 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 very reasonable. But Titus is not placated, and he has her elder son killed. So Tamora is absolutely distraught, and Titus refuses the emperorship and Lavinia, Saturninus tries to take Lavinia as his wife, but Basanius takes Lavinia because he says, she is my wife, she is my engaged, we love each other and we're going. And when one of Titus's remaining sons attempts to stop him from pursuing Basanius, Titus kills him and is all abject apologies to the emperor for his disobedient family. Saturninus is like, this is too much bother. You know what? That goth broad, she's pretty hot. You know, I mean, sure, might be my mother's age, but what do I care? She's hot. I'm going to have her. And so Saturninus goes and decides to marry Tamora instead, which gives Tamora and her entourage are no longer slaves in the tribute, but are now the empress and her sons and her slave. Quite an elevation. Quite an elevation. But she is a queen. She is a queen. Titus, and this is where it's like, George, just, you know, come on, baby, George. Titus then argues with his family about whether his slain son can be laid in the tomb, and eventually they persuade him to this, but he's really not happy about the way that everything's turned out. He really feels, he's like, well, this hasn't gone down well. Once the Andronici leave, having finally persuaded Titus to bury his son, we then see Aaron beginning his great deviousness. And Aaron is with the sons of Tamora, Demetrius and Chiron. Now, they are both in love with Lavinia, apparently. They've just seen her, and she's already caused a great kerfuffle. But they are now fighting each other for Lavinia. And Aaron is like, oh, my. This is nothing. This is stupid. Now, the emperor and the empress have already decided, you know what, we're gonna get these guys. And the empress has said, don't worry, leave it to me. The insult of your brother taking the wife you wanted, leave it to me. Leave it to me. I'll make this man heal. And this is part of her plan to make this man heal, is with Aaron persuading her sons that a better way of dealing with their mutual lust for Lavinia is actually to kill her husband and rape her. That will work better. And they can just go as long as they like, and then once they're done, just make sure she can't tell anyone. Easy. That'll get Titus. And so this is the plan. And that's where George ends his part. Now, Shakespeare picks up the play and everything starts picking up. Now, okay, we have 2 deaths already. They're fairly, they're quite shocking. You don't usually get deaths in the first act, but that's just a prelude to what's going to come. Trust me. Now, Shakespeare takes up this play. The reason Shakespeare is writing with George Peel is because up to this point, Shakespeare had never written a tragedy. He had written comedies and he'd written histories, but tragedies are a big moneymaker in the Elizabethan theatre. And the way that you learn how to write a play is you co-write with a more experienced playwright. And Shakespeare was the superior playwright in a bunch of plays at the end of his career with younger playwrights. And here he is the junior playwright and would be given an outline. So he's told what he needs to write, but the way he gets from A to B to C to D is up to him. And this is where the story really picks up. And because Shakespeare gives some of the most beautiful, poetic, descriptive language to some of the most truly horrific things. And this can be where comedy can be found in this play. It's a very dark comedy, but there's nothing wrong with dark comedy. Shakespeare picks up the play in the forest. And in the forest, the Andronici and the imperial family are all in the forest, pretending that they're all nice and friendly. Yeah, pretending that they're all nice and friendly. So they all think that they're all out hunting and this is wonderful, but everyone has their own little hidden agenda here. Aaron is hiding gold in a really stupid place. And he says himself, you would think I'm a complete idiot to hide gold here, but it's part of my plan. There's a lot of double dealing happening here. Now, Aaron meets up with Tamora, and Aaron and Tamora are lovers of long standing. And when Lavinia and Basanius catch them at it, oh, don't they have things to say about the emperor's new goth bride? Well, this all seems to be, oh, yes, you caught me. Except then her sons come in. And, oh, wouldn't it be a shame if somebody got stabbed, Basanius? Okay, go dump him in a pit. So they go and drag Basanius off. Or they plan to dump him in a pit. They haven't dumped him in a pit just yet. And then it's like, oh, my boys really, really like you, Lavinia. You think you're better than me? Do you? Oh, well, I wonder what you'll think after my boys show you how much they like you. Yes, and so Chiron and Demetrius drag Lavinia off stage. Aaron lures 2 more of Titus's children, 2 more of his sons. I can't really remember their names, but they haven't got much life left, so it doesn't really matter. And he lures them out until they fall into the pit on top of Basanius and can't get out. Aaron, or then Tamora and the emperor and Titus all arrive to find that there is Basanius, the emperor's brother, and Titus's children in the pit, and Basanius is dead. Titus finds a letter and gold, and these are given to the emperor to discover that that according to the letter, Titus's sons have been paid money to kill Basanius, and that they have got caught in their own trap. Oh. And so they are hauled off to be tried for murder. Now, what about Lavinia? Well, everyone else has left the forest, and Marcellus, who's actually possibly the only decent human being in the entire play, yeah, he really is. Marcellus is Titus's brother, who has been a politician rather than a general, which is possibly why he's slightly less warped in his moral compass. Not completely, but slightly less. Anyway, Marcellus is seeking for Lavinia because Basanius has been murdered, and they are now seeking for Lavinia. He finds Lavinia. Lavinia has been her tongue has been cut out and her hands have been cut off. So she is in a hell of a state. Chiron and Demetrius, in a very small scene, had been mocking her about, go and tell them who did this to you. Go and write who did this to you. Oh, no, you can't. They are incredibly vicious. And after they've run off, Marcellus comes and finds Lavinia and brings her to Titus. Now, Titus, the Andronici now are in the city because there is now a trial for the sons of Titus. Titus views Lavinia and is overcome with grief, but he also discovers that his sons are to be executed because the courts have found that they murdered Basanius. And Lavinia cannot say, no, they didn't, because of what's happened to her. She's deeply upset because her brothers are going to be executed for a crime that they didn't commit. But no one can say what she's saying. People keep interpreting over the top of her. So she's now silent for the whole rest of the play. She got like 2 piddly little lines, and then that's it. Titus does a great job of talking over the top of her a lot. We really have no idea what Lavinia is actually thinking because Titus talks for her all the time. Poor woman. So, Aaron comes and brings a message saying that Titus can save his sons if he or Lucius or Marcellus gives their hand. And Lucius and Marcellus both vie each other to go and get an axe to give their hand, and Titus is like, we'll forestall them. And so cut off my hand and send that to the emperor to save my sons. So Aaron does. And when Lucius and Marcellus come back with an axe, they discover that it's too late. Titus has already done this. And then Aaron leaves and comes back presently with both the heads and the hand. So that all was pretty futile. Titus now understands that the emperor is fully against his family, and he sends Lucius into exile. He says, go to the Goths and raise an army against this Rome. Okay, and then they take the heads and the hand and they go back to their home. Now, at dinner in the Titus household, Titus, Marcus, Lavinia, and his young grandson Lucius. Titus is bemoaning his fate as usual. He gets a little bit tiring with this, especially since he's too blind to see that he is blinder than bloody Gloucester. Yeah, I know that was a Lear joke, but he really is in terms of his own stupidity in this whole thing. The quality of mercy is not strained. Well, Portia might have been a bitch, but that's true. mercy would have spared all of this. But anyway, now Titus is bemoaning his fate, and Lavinia discovers in her nephew, she's chasing after her nephew. Her nephew has a copy of Ovid's Metamorphoses, which was actually Shakespeare's favorite book. So yeah, Shakespeare wrote this. The whole play is filled with allusions from Ovid's Metamorphoses. It's not full of hugely religious iconography, but full of mythic iconography. And she chases after her nephew, and he and is very insistent about a particular story, which is the story of Philemon, who was also raped and had her tongue cut out to prevent her naming her rapist. Okay, and the other men, her father and her uncle, slow-witted at times, but they are like, is this what happened to you? And they finally work out a way for Lavinia to name her attackers by being able to move a stick in the sand, in a patch of sand, and write their names in a patch of sand with a stick, which she does, and she names Demetrius and Chiron. And now Titus knows who he is to set himself at. Now he knows who his enemies are. I mean, like, dude, what do you think? You just pissed off the Queen of the Goths. I'm pretty sure she's going to be behind everything here. But, you know, he's not that bright. You can't have really bright people in a slasher film, because otherwise they'd, you know, turn on the light or not go in that room, and then they wouldn't get killed. So, you know, the dimness of the characters is a design feature. So Titus now knows these are the people who are responsible for everything. Next, we go to the palace. And in the palace, Chiron and Demetrius have been given weapons as gifts with poetry written on them. They don't understand the meaning of the poetry, but essentially these gifts come from Titus, and Titus is basically saying, I know what you did. You're going to get it. While they're contemplating these lovely gifts from Titus, the nurse comes in and says that their mother has had the baby, and the baby is black. Oopsie. And Aaron's like, oh, yeah, that's mine. That's mine. And there is a really, really funny line. A really, really funny line wherein one of the sons says to Aaron, you have undone villain, you have undone our mother. And he says, no, villain, I have done thy mother. Oh yeah, burn. The Empress has been like, you know, get rid of the baby to the nurse, and the nurse wants to kill it, and the boys want to kill it, and Aaron is like, you touch my son, and I will kill the lot of you. Who knows about this? No one. Good. I'm going to get my son. Kills the nurse, tells the boys, okay, look, there's some senator guy over there, his wife's just had a baby, take a big lump of gold, big bag of gold, go over to his place, buy the baby, bring it back. There, baby, solved. And he's like, right, I'm going to lone wolf and cub it. And he's out of there. He's going to take his baby and they're going to go. So, he is heading to the Goth camp. He's heading back home. He is going to lone wolf and cub it with his baby. Yes, in Rome, Titus appears mad. Big surprise, Titus appears mad. Anyway, Titus turns up and he has a whole bunch of arrows with messages, and he's got a whole bunch of people, and he's handing out these letters, and he says, go and dig a hole and send this message to Pluto, and I will fire these other messages to the gods so that the gods will hear me and take pity on me. No, we won't. You need another set of gods for that. We don't do that. We like making problems for you. We like having fun. You are little puppets on a stick. You are here for our entertainment, nothing else. They're not going to help you. But he has these inflammatory messages for the gods on these messages, and he fires them into the palace. Which is very deliberately done, where Saturninus reads this great accusation against everyone, and he's like, really, is this going to stand? I've got Goths on the borders. I've got Andronicus as being nuts. This is like, what the hell is going on? And Tamora says, look, sweetie, darling, sweetie, I'll sort it, okay? I'll sort it, darling. I will sort it. I will go and sort this out, and we will arrange a parley between you and Titus, and he will call off his sons and the Goth army, and it will all be cool. It'll be cool, baby. It'll be cool. Okay? Okay? Trust me? And so she's got a plan. In the Goth camp, the Goths discover Aaron, and Aaron is led to Lucius, and Lucius is all set to hang both him and his child. And Aaron is like, look, dude, don't hurt my son, and I'll tell you everything that's been going on. Swear by your gods and that you won't hurt my son, and I will tell you everything. And so Lucius swears, and Aaron tells the whole story to Lucius, and now Lucius knows what's going on, and he is coming to march on Rome. Queen Tamora, because Titus is assumed to be completely mad, she decides she's going to play on this. And she has dressed herself up as Revenge and comes to the door and knocks on the door. Because, yeah, that's what the gods do. They knock on the door and say, hello, let me in. Please, mortals wet themselves, if they're lucky, when we turn up. You know, I mean, Father Uncle Sis turn up, boom. People immolate. That's what happened to Semele, Dionysus's mother. She immolated. So, you know, gods do not knock on the door. Because apparently we sent Revenge. No, we didn't. No, we did not. But Titus is like, okay. He knocks on the door, and I am Revenge. I have come. I have brought you murder and rape, her two sons, to help you avenge the hurts that have happened to your family. And Titus is like, cool. Okay. So what are we going to do? And she's like, and the emperor will come and visit with you. And you will have your chance to have revenge. And he's like, cool. That sounds really good. Revenge, do you mind if I keep murder and rape here for a little while? Because I have some things to say to them that I really need to say to them. So do you mind if you leave them there? You can go when that's cool, but can you leave them here? And Tamora's like, yeah, sure. thinking, yeah, this was too freaking easy. That was brilliant. So she leaves, leaving her 2 sons, possibly the stupidest move she could have made. Titus calls for his men, and they take the 2 men and they bind them, and Titus is gonna kill them. So he has them strung up and slits their throats, and he has Lavinia hold a pan underneath them to catch the blood, because he's going to turn them into pies. Much like the Adarides. You know Menelaus and Agamemnon? Well, their family, the Adarides, Atreus, they did something similar. That's why the gods abandoned them and let them get butchered like pigs. Because between the incest and the feeding children to parents, there wasn't much redeemable about that family. Not much at all. The Greeks might have told a different story, but we wiped them out. We wiped them out. Orestes never got better. We never called the Furies off. Athena doesn't have the authority to call off the Furies. No one does. No one called the Furies off. Orestes never made it. The Adarides are garbage. Total garbage. But the idea of putting people into a pie and then feeding them to a parent comes from the Adarides. So Titus knew what he was doing there. So Titus is going to put these two boys into a pie and feed them to Tamora. So the feast is ready, and everything is laid out, and the emperor comes, and Marcellus and Lucius come, and the emperor thinks, yes, I'm going to get this stupid old man, and he comes in dressed like a cook, and it's like, oh God, he's really lost his marbles. He's coming in fancy dress to visit the emperor. I mean, like, he's clearly senile. This is awful. But I'm going to get him to call off this, and then we're going to sort this mess out. Well, by sort it out, we're probably going to kill them all, But that doesn't really matter. So anyway, Titus comes in and like, why are you dressed like this? And Titus then asks a question from classical mythology. Don't worry, we're almost done. From classical mythology about whether a particular person was right or wrong to have killed his daughter who was raped. And Saturninus says that he was right, and so Titus promptly kills Lavinia. And they're like, everyone's sitting there like, what on earth did you do that for to your daughter? You murdering monster. And he says, oh, but my daughter suffered the same thing, and you said that was right. And, why should you be so upset when the queen, the empress, is sitting there eating her sons? And then Titus kills the empress, and then Saturninus kills Titus, and then Lucius kills Saturninus. And then Lucius is, oh look, he's the last man standing, and so he becomes emperor. The end. Oh, and Aaron, don't forget Aaron. Aaron gets buried up to his chest in the ground and left to starve. More of an afterthought. Saturninus will get buried. Titus will get buried. Tamora will get thrown to the animals. Yeah. Told you, it's a slasher fic. It's a slasher. It's just death after death after death after gross thing after gross thing after gross thing. There's tons of blood. But anyway, that's Titus Andronicus for you. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will be back again later with a comedy. Yes, I promise you a comedy after this one. I know. What can I say? It's there. But anyway, I'll come back with a comedy. Okay? Bye-bye. All right, don't touch my cards. I'm coming back to the game now. If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other writing services to help with your writing.